How's it going, everyone? My name is Oscar Moneyball, and I will be using my match simulator to help us predict the results for this weekend's busy MLS Matchday 8. We have the Generation Adidas Cup playing in the background. Going to be watching that, as we record these videos here. But I am super excited to create this content for all you MLS fans, myself included. And as I mentioned in my first video, I don't really see this type of content on this platform or any other platform, so I want to be able to use my resources and get in front of this camera to bring you guys this content. Now, there are a lot of games. There's 14 games as there are every weekend. So this video could get very lengthy, and as I mentioned previously, this content is sort of tailored to not just the expected goals that will be happening per match, but also the win probabilities, the over 0.5 goals per team, and the over 1.5 goals per team. Super excited, and this season is still very young. The reason why I waited so long to even start creating this content was mostly because there hasn't been enough games to provide this simulator with enough data in home form and away form. For example, CF Montreal hasn't played a home game, so a lot of the numbers are a little thrown off because of that. And the away form for everyone has a pretty solid data, has enough data to give us a good starting point. However, take this with a grain of salt. This is mostly for entertainment purposes. Last weekend we were able to get some really good results with this. A lot of the games were completely took us by surprise. For example, Philadelphia against Minnesota. There's some other games. However, let's get this video started with the first game for this weekend. Let's get this thing moving. Sweet. Let's move this over here. All right, busy schedule we have here. The first match, we have Columbus Crew versus DC United. Expected goals in this match, we have 1.5 to 0.9 in favor of Columbus Crew. Win probability is at 53% versus 21% for the Crew. Over 0.5, as you can see there, 77% for Columbus Crew to score. 54%, almost a coin toss for DC United to get on the score sheet tomorrow morning. The over 1.5, as you can see there, is 44 to 22%. Everything is in favor for the Crew to take this match. However, DC United has been looking pretty solid this season. Big difference from what we were able to witness last season going on with them. The following match here is Cincinnati versus New York Red Bulls. The New York Red Bulls have a strong start. They've been a little shaky. Same with Cincinnati. So this should be a good game that allows for both teams to take advantage of this and potentially get their first couple 3 points this season. Not that it's the first, but it's a big possibility for them. It's a huge open game here. We have the win probability in favor for Cincinnati at 30%. Meanwhile, New York Red Bulls has 11% win probability, leaving a huge margin for the draw or for anyone to pick up that remaining percentage for the win. Expected goals in this match, we have a low-scoring game here, 0.5 to 0.3. That tells us that the offensive strength for both of these teams away is not the best, or that they just have really solid defense. And I don't really think that that's the case because both of these teams have been coming off some negative results. So I'll say that their offense is probably not the best at the moment. The over 0.5 goals in this match is 38% versus 20% in favor for Cincinnati, and the over 1.5 is 11% to 5%. Very low scoring match, but we'll see what the final result is as we watch this game tomorrow. The following match, we have Inter Miami versus Colorado Rapids. Colorado Rapids I think we guessed that one pretty right. Our match simulator told us Colorado will be taking the game against LAFC, which they ended up doing. Inter Miami is expected to win this game. Their win probability is at 46% versus 11%. They did have that tough match in the middle of the week for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Excuse me. Where they played against a very strong Monterrey team. Expected goals in this match 2.1 versus 1.6. This game could go both ways. I think it will be an entertaining match as Colorado Rapids have been in pretty good form in the beginning of this season. Inter Miami, they are a very strong team with the players and the caliber of their players. We can expect this to be a very entertaining game, maybe high-scoring match with both teams to score. The over 0.5 is at a very high 82% for Inter Miami. Meanwhile, Colorado Rapids is at 76%. The over 1.5 is in favor for the home team at 57% versus 46%. Ooh, the game has started. SKC versus LA Galaxy. I believe this is the U17s. Anyways. Match number 4, New England Revolution versus Charlotte FC. Charlotte FC have had a really strong season. Beginning of their season, they are very strong at home, and New England did have the game in the middle of the week versus Club America. They did get dominated. I watched that game, and New England looked very, very poor. It looked like they didn't know how to transition from defending to attack, and the way they defended didn't look that good. I'll be honest. America exposed a lot of their weaknesses. The defense looked very lousy. They looked almost robotic. Not what we're used to seeing from New England Revolution. The expected goals in this match is 0.6 versus 0.9 in favor of Charlotte FC. The win probability as well is in favor for the away team, 40% versus 24% for the home team. The over 0.5 goals is at 47% for the home team, 59% for the away team. And as you can see there, just to make this video a little bit faster and less content driven, you can see the over 1.5s there. I mean, you can see the results even before I say it, right? I'm highlighting on, just trying to make this video kind of quick for you guys. Not making it quick, but there's a lot of games that we have to go through. New York City versus Atlanta United. Atlanta United surprised me last weekend. I spoke a little negative about them, mostly because I don't believe that they are that entertaining. You look at their squad and, not a lot of names stick out. They had a really bad last season. They surprised me, though. They ended up winning 3-0 against Chicago. Chicago is a very lousy team. They allow a lot of goals, so we'll see how this game plays out. But for this match, we do have expected goals in favor for the New York FC squad, 1.5 versus 0.2. That's very low in favor for New York City. Win probability is also in favor for New York, 69% versus 5%, leaving somewhat of a margin there for Atlanta United to maybe pick up a double chance if they can defend very well. But the over 0.5 goals in this match is in favor for New York City FC, 76% for New York City to score versus Atlanta United, 19%. Now, it's a soccer match. Anything could happen. Atlanta, I'm sure they're going to try to keep New York contained, use a low block to see how New York can penetrate that defense and get a couple shots on target. It's going to be a tough match for New York City, even though they are the favorites to win. I'm sure Atlanta is going to be trying. They're not going to be as forward driven as they usually are when they play at home. So we'll see how creative New York can get to win this match. Vancouver Whitecaps versus Toronto FC. Here we have the Clásico of Canada. I'm not really sure what that is officially called, but we do have the two Canadian teams playing against each other this weekend. Vancouver Whitecaps expected goals 0.9, Toronto FC 1.0. Very even game there, as the win probability is also very, very close. 33% versus 36% for Toronto FC. The over 0.5 goals there is at 59% versus 62%. Could be a low scoring match. Vancouver Whitecaps at home are a strong team. I'm sure they will do their best to contain the two Italians having fun in Toronto FC. Like I said, kicking and screaming. That's what that reminds me of. They're having fun out there in Toronto, and it looks like a different team from last season. Very entertaining game, I think. But for me, the highlight of this weekend is the Tráfico Classic. I'm not too sure what it's called, but two teams from LA, Southern California, very strong teams. LAFC is not as strong as they usually are, versus an LA Galaxy team that haven't lost. Expected goals in this match, 2.3 versus 1.3 in favor for LAFC, the home team. Win probability as well. They do have the edge there, 57% versus 20% for LA Galaxy. Could this be the first weekend, the first game that LA Galaxy takes an L? I think they will do their best to not have that be the result. I think a double opportunity for LA Galaxy would be a strong choice at that moment. The over 0.5 goals, as you can see, is very high for LAFC. But LA Galaxy do have potential to get on the score sheet this weekend. I think of both teams to score would be a really, really easy bet there. If maybe you'd like to parlay that with something else, or the over 1.5 goals if you want to protect yourself and parlay that with something else. Following match is Austin FC versus San Jose Earthquakes, my team, the Quakes. Austin FC are having a better start to their season. They are scoring a lot of goals at home. I think they are averaging 2 goals per game. However, San Jose Earthquakes, although they're not that strong, they will be trying their best to contain Austin FC. And San Jose has played enough away games already where they have experience being on the road. They just came from Texas. And it looks like they will be winning this match according to this match simulator. Expected goals 1.2 versus 1.7. San Jose Earthquakes have been losing away. However, it's mostly due to really small errors or really good goals from the home teams. Does Austin FC have that strength, to that creativity, that attacking power to really put San Jose Earthquakes on their heels? I don't think so. The Earthquakes are looking a little bit better. They are looking more dynamic, and I think with a lower caliber team like Austin FC, the Earthquakes will take this as an opportunity to at least fight a little bit more than they have been. Win probability is in favor for the Earthquakes, 48% versus 27%. The over 0.5 goals in this match is at 80% for the Earthquakes and 62% for Austin FC. I would go with the Earthquakes scoring 2 goals in this match. As I said, they will be on the offensive. Austin FC is a team that will allow that game to be fought in the midfield. It'll be a lot of transitions, and we'll see who the better team is after those 90 minutes. Following match is Chicago FC versus Houston Dynamo. Here we have the Chicago team. Expected goals is at 0.2 versus 1.0 for Houston Dynamo. Win probability is at 8% for Chicago, 56% for the Dynamo squad. Excuse me. Over 0.5 goals in this match. We have 61% for the Dynamo and 14% for Chicago. Chicago did have a horrible game against Atlanta. They were away, and Chicago away is just a really, really bad team. Their form away is really, really bad, and they're back at home, so hopefully this allows them to be with their fans so they can get a positive result. Houston is a very low scoring team. They did have a lucky game against the Earthquakes, I will say that. Also, the early goal from the Quakes sort of conditioned the match, in where Houston Dynamo had to, go all out attack. They didn't look that solid. The goals came very late in the game, as they usually do for a Quakes away match. I do think Houston Dynamo will be taking this match, however. We'll just see what this final result is. Match 10 of this weekend is Minnesota FC versus Real Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake has been looking really good. Arango had a fun weekend last week. I believe he scored a hat trick, and that's sort of what's expected of a top striker, especially in this league. Minnesota expected goals 0.8 versus 1.1 for Real Salt Lake. The win probability here is in favor for the away team, 42% versus 30% for the home team, leaving a pretty big margin there for a draw. Be careful with that. Protect yourself with those bets. The over 0.5 goals in this match is at 51% versus 60% for Real Salt Lake. LA Galaxy goal. Interesting. Again, I'm watching the Generation Adidas Cup as I'm recording these videos. I believe these are playoffs, quarterfinals. Ooh, bad mistake there. Come on, you guys got to clear that. Wow. SKC, you guys look so bad. Following match 11, Nashville SC versus Philadelphia Union. Really interesting matchup. Philadelphia is probably, looks like they're getting their form back. Looks like they had a tough beginning of the season. They looked really good against Minnesota. They did play at home. This is an away match against Nashville, a very strong team that just played the Crew. Expected goals in this match is 0.9 versus 2.4. 2.4 for Philadelphia Union. The win probability is at 13% versus 66% for Philadelphia Union. The over 0.5, we do expect Philadelphia to score in this match. So if Nashville wants to win this match, you could expect Nashville to they'll have to put 2 goals away, expecting the Union to score here. 87% for Union to score 1 goal, 58% for Nashville to score 2. So, we don't really know what happens until the match actually starts. It is soccer. Anything could happen. A penalty kick, a mistake, whatever the case may be. Be careful with your bets. Protect yourself. The following match is St. Louis City versus FC Dallas. Expected goals in this match is 1.4 versus 0.9. Win probability 47% versus 25%. Very even game here, as the 0.5 goals in this match for St. Louis is at 74% versus 60% for FC Dallas. FC Dallas does have, pretty decent attacking strength. St. Louis City is a solid team. They did have a really good season last year, and I'm sure at home they're going to feel really confident. FC Dallas will be having to play against that really strong St. Louis City fan base that does have an advantage to some teams, especially as those that get loud, especially for those teams that have a really loud fan base like St. Louis does have. Seattle Sounders versus CF Montreal. They've had so many away games, right, that I feel really confident with this. Seattle has been on the road for the past 2 weeks. They did play against LA Galaxy last week. They had a really high XG. I do expect Seattle to score this weekend. I do expect CF Montreal to score this weekend. Even though the expected goals is so low, could be a 1-1, 2-1 game, 2-2, 3-1, depending. You never know with soccer. However, a 1-1 is the minimum of what I see going on here. See expected goals 0.8 for Seattle, 1.3 for Montreal. The win probability is at 46% versus 22% for Seattle. Scoring over 0.5 goals in this match. We do have a little bit of a coin toss for Seattle versus 69% for Montreal. As I said, both teams will definitely be scoring in this match, just from what I've been seeing. The last match of this match day 8 is Sporting Kansas City versus Portland Timbers. We have expected goals of 1.0 versus 1.6. Win probability is in favor for Portland, 51% versus 24% for the home team. The over 0.5 goals in this match, I think we could expect Portland to score with its high probability of 79% versus 62% for Sporting Kansas City. And as you can see there, the over 1.5s are pretty low there. Again, this is all based off home and away. There is something that I do want to highlight from my favorite matches this weekend. Let's go to LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy has an even 3 games at home, 3 games away. They do average about almost 2 goals, a little bit over 2 goals per game, and receive about 1.6 goals per game. Perhaps LA Galaxy could win this match. Their XG is it's almost 1 goal less than their actual goals, or just about. So but it's really, really close to the 2. So I do think, LA Galaxy will be putting up a really strong fight against LAFC. Let's see what LAFC has at home. 3 games and 3 games. They score about 2 goals per match, concede 0.33. That's really strong for LAFC. I don't think that'll be the case this weekend. I do expect, let's just maybe a 2-1 for LAFC win. For sure, both teams will be scoring. 2-2 draw if LA Galaxy really fights. Their XG is much higher than their goals per game. It is a little deviated because of their last home game where they did win 5-0, but their XG almost matched the goals that they scored. Another one that catches my eye here is I'm going to be talking about the Quakes. Quakes away. They do concede about 2 goals per game. As I said, I feel like they've been sort of lucky, and not that I'm being biased, but they're usually really late goals, and they do get on. They've been consistently scoring away. Could this be a regression for them? Maybe they don't score. Maybe they surpass their medium here of 1 goal per match. We'll see how that goes. Their XG is fairly low. However, their XG is less than a goal per game. We potentially could see, I know I mentioned San Jose scoring 2 goals, but looking at this now, it doesn't look like that anymore. Let's see what Austin is like. Austin at home has had 4 games. They're averaging about 1.75 goals per game. They concede about 1.75 goals per game. Their XG it's just 1 goal per game. Meanwhile, their XG conceded is at an even 2. That's where I'm getting that edge for San Jose. Well, let's make sure we transition. Sure we're good. There you have it, my guys, or ladies and gentlemen, whoever watches this video. This is Oscar Moneyball checking out. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Hug your loved ones and share this content with anyone who you think may like this type of content. Leave a comment below if you want to see some different types of metrics that we could potentially try to simulate for you guys. I can keep track of it. The season's really young, so it's really easy to make some changes to this simulator. But enjoy your weekend. See you guys on the next one. Drink some coffee, drink some water, take a shot.